Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful 8th of June, 2021, coming at the Crusty Canuck podcast, episode 131. Sex, drugs, the Jab, and the Vatican, and others. All that and more coming up. Stick around.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me.
Yes, sir.
There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast, a Canadian veteran's point of view on political, social, economic issues, and life. Here's Crusty.
Mama always said I had a face for radio.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, June 8th, 2021, in the news today. I guess 4 innocent people were mowed down in London, Ontario. And, of course, the Prime Minister and all the SJW aficionados alike are blaming it on a terrorist act. Of course, this individual, a 21 or 20-year-old kid, I'll leave links in the description for you. His name is Nathan. Apparently, he had intent, and he drove over the curb and killed 4 innocent people as they were out for a leisurely walk this past Sunday evening. Now, I've sat and I've watched the news, tried to formulate some good points for this show, and I can't, honestly, because I've mentioned before in the Crusty Canuck podcast numerous times that our government and leaders and know-it-alls and do-gooders alike have constantly pulled the race card out and used it as an excuse to justify the outrage. Now, I am not condoning anybody for mowing anybody down with a truck, any kind of piece of machinery, with a gun, with a weapon of any sort. I am not condoning anybody in their right mind killing 4 people. Or 40 people, or 50 people, or 60 people, what have you. Okay? Now, based on the news that we have had in the past few years in regards to attacks here and attacks there, okay, we had that individual in Toronto that took a van and ran over 10 people. Okay, that was not a Muslim crime. That was not a Christian crime. That was just some guy who was fucked in the head. Okay? How about the Danforth shooter? Here's an individual that had association with Muslim Brotherhoods and a tight-knit family who had mental issues, yes, because he was on certain medications. He had carfentanil in his possession, according to the Toronto police, in his home and all that. And him and his brother did acquire illegal firearms that were stolen from a gun shop in Saskatchewan, right? That was found out later, the fact. But it wasn't called a terrorist attack until, 6 months, a year later? No, the individual that took a Winchester rifle and shot that corporal at the Cenotaph in 2014. Was that considered a terrorist attack? It was after the fact, of course, right? The individual that stormed Rideau Cottage there last year, who went and had a little talk with Prime Minister Trudeau, right? Who apparently had weapons in his truck, or firearms in his truck, right? Was that considered a terrorist attack too? Right? See, the way I look at terrorism is that if someone commits an act in the name of politics, in the name of an ideology, that's a terrorist attack. But after all the articles I've read from The Guardian and from The Star and from other news sources via Google and big tech media, they're all calling this guy a terrorist. Oh my God, how dare he? They made it sound like that he was sitting there waiting for ample targets to appear. Now, I'm not going to sit here and take any sides on this, ladies and gentlemen. What happened was a terrible fucking crime. Heinous. Doesn't matter if you're Muslim, doesn't matter if you're Christian, doesn't matter if you're Jewish, doesn't matter if you're an atheist. Doesn't matter if you're walking along with your family or friends, or just a few dudes hanging out on your way to the bar or a game, and someone mows you down. Okay? It's a heinous fucking crime. But what gets me is that the disingenuous fucktards that represent our government all of a sudden sitting there tooting the horn of virtue, calling it, oh, it's a terrorist attack. How dare you? You know? And Mr. Harjit Singh standing up and talking about the whole, oh my God, Muslims can't walk freely in this country without being attacked. We all remember the hijab hoax, right, ladies and gentlemen? We all remember that little girl and that little boy sitting there in the press conference about an hour or so after the fact that the heinous crime happened, and yet it was the Toronto Police Service that actually figured out that it never really happened to begin with, right? It was a made-up gesture. something to gain attention, something to gain the press, something to win the hearts and minds of Canadians. Now, I don't condemn anybody who is Muslim. I don't condemn anybody who is Christian. I don't condemn anybody who is Jewish or Mennonite or Hutterite. I don't care if you're Buddhist. I don't care if you worship lemons. I don't care if you worship the monkeys and praise the sun gods. Do it well. Do the best of your ability. That's what the freedom we're supposed to have in this country to promote. We're supposed to promote that freedom of expression. And yet when the Prime Minister gets on television and sits there and says, oh, Canada tolerates this, Canada tolerates that, freedom of expression is one of our fundamental rights, and yet you sit idly by in your hands, sir, and watch pastors get arrested in the province of Alberta and Ontario, respectively. Can you say hypocrite? Right? Like I said, this episode is called Sex, Drugs, the Jab and the Vatican. So this is recent news that happened in London there, ladies and gentlemen, Sunday evening, apparently around 8:30 or 8:40 p.m. in the evening. So I'll leave links in the description and have you decide. My weigh-in is this. I don't believe that it was a terrorist act. If it is, okay, then I can stand corrected. I have the ability to do that better than some journalists and some other politicians of today. Okay? See, what gets me is that every time something bad happens to somebody in this country, they either chalk it up to mental conditions or they call it a terrorist act. The Danforth shooter, oh, he had mental conditions. Oh, there was nothing really wrong with him. He was just a screw loose. Yeah, okay. The individual that mowed down those 10 people in Toronto, oh, he had mental conditions. You know, he had a screw loose. Oh, okay. Right. Individual that shot that poor corporal at the cenotaph in 2014. Oh, he had mental conditions. Oh, he had issues. Oh, okay. But this guy, apparently, you know, based on the London Police Service's investigation, right, all of a sudden, lickety-split, click, 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 click. Oh, he was a terrorist. Oh, he committed this heinous act. Oh, he did this. He did that. He was a terrible human being. Okay. I'll leave links in the description for you guys to follow and decide for yourselves. Now, I'm speculating here, but I think there's more to the story than we're being told. And I want to say shame to all the politicians out there that all of a sudden doing the Twitter feed and jumping on the virtue bus. Yes, it is wrong that 4 people died. Yes, it is terrible to hurt anybody for the sake of their religious value. It is. I don't go to my way to hurt people because I disagree with their preaching or their gospels. Okay? I'm not religious, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not a religious human being. My faith is something that's very, very private to me that I'll share with the world maybe at a later date, but I am not a practicing Christian. I am not a Muslim. I am not Jewish. I am not Buddhist. You can call me an atheist, fine. You can call me agnostic, fine. I try to be a realist. I try to be a human being before I find any kind of illusion or delusion of what's out there. Okay? I'm a human being. Yes, I'm a straight white male. I'm married to a wonderful lady. I live in a good home. I have a good job. And I have some great fans out there that listen to this show and give me good support all the time. And I am grateful to that. But I'm not grateful to be represented by leadership in this country that toots the horn of virtue and toots the horn of oppression when they are the first ones to create and endorse said oppression, i.e. inflation, i.e. closing the stores, i.e. creating racial divide, i.e. creating the dissension within the ranks of what we call Canada.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, too, please follow the links in the description. Follow me on Supercast. Just follow the green check mark there in the description on Podbean and YouTube and other media sites. Join Supercast today for $5 a month. You get all of my Crusty Canuck episodes, all audio. Censorship free, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. It's a Canadian-based company, and they support Canadian podcasters such as myself. So please consider joining Supercast today for $5 a month. I've recently just found out, too, that I have 8,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. Thank you very much. I am very grateful to all you subscribers out there. And if half of you subscribers, let's say, would give me maybe $2 a month, I would be on my way to making this podcast fucking fantastic. But I need viewers like yourselves, good people like yourselves, to make that a reality. I'd like to make this a full-time commitment, ladies and gentlemen. So please, I need your assistance. I'm not going to beg for coin. No, I keep saying that all the time, and I mean that. I'm not going to be one of those SJWs or little kids or so-called tweeny 20-somethings demanding cash just for sitting there looking pretty. You know, if I want to look pretty, I would have gone to modeling. But those years are done. So, needs to say. Anyway, carrying on. The sex, drugs, the jab, and the Vatican. Yes. In recent news, too, the 215 apparent bodies that were discovered in Kamloops there. Now, I have a bit of confession here to make, ladies and gentlemen. I jumped the gun on that one. I did. Based on some of the stories I read from True North and some of the conversations I've had offline with people, we don't know exactly what is happening with that. Now, the ground radar discovered that there were bodies there. We don't know exactly from what time, when. Needless to say, it was a grave of some sort. Okay? So I'll leave links in the description from True North, who wrote some excellent articles about that, some reports. So you decide, ladies and gentlemen. To my First Nation listeners and brothers and sisters out there, I don't mean to jump the gun. I just want to see fairness. I want to see the truth come to light. I want to see reconciliation happen now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, now. Okay? And the politicians tell us that we're all in this together. Well, I guess we are in this together. And it's going to take people like yourselves, myself, your friends, our neighbors, our family, our loved ones, to come together to unite on some real unity and some real truth and reconciliation when it comes to sorting this shit out. But I'm not going to deny history either, too. I refuse to deny history. All the good bits and all the fucking bad bits, too. So, back to the jab. Now people are gearing up to get the second dose. Second dose. It's important to get the second dose. Oh, the second dose. Oh, my God. How's me get the second dose? I have people in my life that are bragging about getting the second dose. Great. Great. I'm not getting any doses, ladies and gentlemen, because I really don't trust it. That's just me, though. I'd sooner trust a pack of smokes than I trust these fucking vaccines. But that's just me. Okay? I believe in individual liberty, individual choice. If you want to get the jab, get the fucking jab. But I don't want to. Why? Because the last time I had a flu shot was about 10 years ago, and I'm still here. Right? And we get an idea what's in the flu shots every year, but people still get sick from it. So rather than getting the flu, they'll get like a 2 or 3 day fucking head cold or chest issue, or they want to puke, or they want to shit their pants. Needless to say, you shouldn't be taking shots that still make you sick, whether it's a 3 day fucking sickness or a 3 week sickness or a 3 month sickness, regardless. Okay? So that's my stance on the jab. I really don't think we need any more of this. I think the stores should have been open already. I think the businesses should be flourishing. I think we should be thriving right now. Like our friends in the States, like Texas and Florida. How many cases have come back? They keep talking about cases. They don't talk about actual deaths. Cases. Yet, how many cases are flourishing? I don't believe the hospitals are overrun. And I'm not saying that the virus isn't real and, oh my God, it's a conspiracy. No. I can guarantee you'll be hard-pressed to find any major hospital in this country that has people lying in the hallways, lying in the waiting rooms, in beds with intravenous's and breathers and all this good stuff, helping them along their way. There's a lot of bureaucracy that's calling the shots here, and we know it. Okay? So if you're going to take the jab, okay, think about it. Think about it. What's going to happen? What prolonged effects? And there's more and more data coming out as we speak in regards to prolonged effects of these jabs and what's happening to us as a society. Doesn't matter if you're American, doesn't matter if you're Canadian, doesn't matter if you're British, doesn't matter where you are in the world, ladies and gentlemen. I personally think our democracies are being compromised every day. But it's up to us to talk about it, get the words out, get it out in the open. So that's why I emphasize the support, and I really, really appreciate the kindness and the emails I've been receiving from people, especially the past few months. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you all, too, for the turnout on Sunday's Fastball. I had a great interview that Chris put together, Chris Hemchuk, and his wonderful channel, where he talked to D-Day veteran Tony there. Fantastic. So please, if you haven't seen it yet, watch it. Get some insight from another perspective from a living member of the greatest generation that we have seen. Different perspectives on life and what had to be done in those days. And compare it to the actions that are being taken now to the unfairness and the proper inequality with people. Okay? Like I said, sex, drugs, the jab, and the Vatican. I'll be getting to the Vatican shortly, too, with the Pope's, basically unsavory and unfeeling regards to the Catholic Church's involvement in Canada and the United States when it came to residential schooling. So I'll be getting that shortly. But carry on with the whole sex thing. It's funny, it's Pride Month, and we're not seeing too many pride flags up and about. Interesting. We're not seeing the political pride. Now, I'm not condemning anybody who is or who isn't. I don't care who you love. I don't care how you love. Do it well, to the best of your fucking ability. And as long as you're happy and your partner's happy, there you go. That fucking simple. Okay? But I, for one, am getting tired of the political dogma that's going with it. And how you have to pronounce this, and how you have to pronounce that. How you have to say this, and how you have to say that. The moment you start telling people what to say, when to say it, then your ideology is null and void. There's being polite, there's being courteous, and there's being kind to people. Then there's just being a fucking dick. Right? You want to be a dick? That's on your own court. I've met lots of dicks, trust me. Gay, straight, bi, pansexual, whatever fucking identity you go with. I don't really care. What I care about is how you treat other people. Set that example. Do the exact opposite of the so-called oppression of 30, 50, 60, 70 years ago. Do the exact opposite of that. That's how leadership comes. That's how leadership thrives. I don't care if Bob and Steve hold hands in the public park. I don't care if June and Edna sit there and play horizontal Olympics. Knock yourselves out, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? But people are going to talk. People are going to say things, whatever. There's always going to be some bigot in some crowd. Some asshole is going to say this. Some douchebag is going to say that. So fucking be it. You have to set that example, regardless. Okay? And nothing wrong being proud of your sexuality. Nothing wrong being proud of your accomplishments. Okay? But I personally don't think it's any great feat, to be proud of what you do with your privates or how you clean them. I just hope to God you do clean them and look after yourself, because STIs are a real bitch. I'm not saying that from personal experience. I'm saying it from friends of mine who did some stupid things. And the look on their face when they discovered that they had a bad bit downstairs. Oh. Anyhow, I'm not trying to be a dick, ladies and gentlemen. But we got to start being realistic about this. Okay? Well, we had a heated discussion there in the Crusty podcast of the fastball there on Sunday in regards to abortion. And I still stand my ground. I don't agree with it. But I'm not going to tell any woman that she can't have one either. Okay? I smoke cigarettes. I still drink on occasion. So in a way, I'm polluting my body. And I do agree that when something's growing inside of a female's body, and I will say a female, so all you SJWs out there who like to say birthing people, go fuck your hats. Women give birth. Douchebags, do the math. Biological females, do the fucking math and do the fucking deed. Because it takes a male seed to make it happen. So it takes two people to tango. So all these people that say birthing people, blow it out your ass. Anyhow, it's up to that individual to bring the baby to term. Okay? Now, if she decides she doesn't want the child, fine. There are people out there that can really appreciate and raise a child on their own. There's a lot of people that I know personally that cannot have kids. Physically cannot have children. And the adoption market is exactly what it is. It's a market. It's pretty fucking hard to get into in some cases. Excuse me. And it's also costly too. But I do believe that when something is growing inside a woman, it's alive. Period. Okay? You can dress up a shit sandwich all you want and call it a submarine. It's still a shit sandwich, ladies and gentlemen. And it's not a shit sandwich for a woman to bring life into this world. Not at all. It's something that should be respected and praised to the best of our abilities. Okay? And it's about proper decisions, knowing what's right, what's wrong. Like I say, it takes two to tango. There's lots of protection out there for ladies to prevent pregnancies. Lots of protection, lots of choices. More so than any man. What's a man have to do? Right? He either gets a snip himself inside, or he wears a dome, or he goes abstinent. Right? But there's numerous other choices for women out there to protect themselves from STIs and from pregnancies too. And anyone who brags about getting an abortion, well, I don't really think that's something to brag about, to be honest with you. Because I look at that as bragging about smoking a pack of cigarettes and drinking a case of beer by yourself. Is that an accomplishment? Or just something really fucking stupid?
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
Well, smack my ass and call me Judy.
Yes, carrying on, ladies and gentlemen, the Crusty Canuck Podcast, episode 131. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck, and please consider joining me on Supercast, too. $5 a month gets you all of my episodes. Every time I upload, it goes right to Supercast. $5 a month gets you all of my episodes, audio, censorship free. And in the near future, too, I'm also working on making better videos for y'all, too. I worked out my StreamYard issues and all this stuff, so hopefully in the next couple of weeks, the next Crusty Canuck episode, or one of them will be a video of moi, my radio mug, and the audio too, so you can choose from Podbean and YouTube alike. So pay attention to that. And pay attention to my community pages on YouTube and Facebook, respectively, for updates on giveaways, other items of interest, and other information in regards to the podcast, too. So carrying on. Sex, drugs, the jab, and the Vatican. Now, yes, it was brought to my attention that the Pope Francis, made a lovely speech at the Vatican in regards to what happened in residential schooling. Now, I think the honorable thing to do would be that every clergy, every archdiocese, every diocese, every bishop, every cardinal that knows what happened, step up to the fucking plate and confess it and atone for it, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't matter if you're Catholic, doesn't matter if you're Anglican, Presbyterian, United, whatever branch of the Christian faith had its hands in the residential schooling system, as well as every government official that's still alive today, atone for it. Shit simple, okay? You know, in the social world right now, you have celebrities that make tweets, and 10 years later, all of a sudden, they're fired from jobs. You know, you have someone who makes a gesture, and then 5 years later, that person's put on the kangaroo court of social feelings and aspects. Oh, my God. And yet we can't hold these people accountable for something a hell of a lot more heinous than just bad words or a bad thought or a bad opinion, right? Interesting how things have changed over the past 10 years in regards to who's responsible for this shit or not. Right? Who's responsible for doing these things? And we can blame every prime minister. Of course we can. Okay. Does that mean we have to smash the statues? Does that mean we have to destroy the history because it doesn't suit the fucking narrative? Is that too much of a microaggressive? Oh my God, that's a microaggression. How dare you ask me where I'm from? How dare you ask me and tell me how you feel? You know what I say to those people? Go fuck your hat. You don't want to read it? You don't have to look at it. Do you want to acknowledge it? You don't have to acknowledge it. But it happened. Right? Just like thunderstorms happen, tornadoes happen, fires, floods, you know, wars, famine, disease. They happen all the time. And people die. But I'm a firm believer in truth and reconciliation. Let's open up the fucking books. Let's open up the records. Let's check every residential schooling out and to see what church was involved, right? And it doesn't matter if it's Catholic, Presbyterian, United, Anglican, or whatever branch of this or branch of that, right? And I'm not condemning my Christian listeners out there too. I'm condemning the leadership. I'm condemning the act of hiding the facts. Because a lot of these people are the same people that hid the issues in Boston, right? In Massachusetts, where the movie Spotlight was based on, and the issues that happened in Newfoundland, the Mount Cashel incidents, right? So we have to look at this with a fine-tooth comb and under the most scrutiny, I would say, and maybe with extreme prejudice too. Well, I haven't talked to anybody yet, personally, who has survived the residential schooling system, but I can imagine the heinous and the horror that happened. And if anyone's listening right now, my heartfelt sympathies to the deepest of my soul to you. I am sorry you had to go through that shit. But I'm not projecting any kind of white guilt here. I'm just one human to the next. This isn't a political thing. This is a sincerity thing. Okay? So anybody from the First Nations who is listening to this right now, you know, I'm extending an olive leaf just because of me being a human being to another human being. I have nothing against anybody of any origin. I've said before in the Crusty podcast that this diversity thing they keep talking about has always been in our backyard the whole time. And if it wasn't for the First Nations that helped the Coureurs de Bois and Samuel de Champlain and all of our great discoverers, I guess you can say, I really don't think life would be as it is now, regardless of the oppression and the prejudices that occurred, right? If it wasn't for the First Nations, I think mapping of North America would have gone to shit, right? Navigation would be null and void, right? So we have to thank all of our First Nations for the guidance and the wisdom that they showed a lot of our ancestors, and the guidance and wisdom they can show us today still. So put that in perspective, ladies and gentlemen. And this isn't a race thing. This isn't, these poor this. This is people working together with people. And it's too bad our leaders can't see it that way too, because every time something bad happens to a certain group, we always got the politicians waving their finger and shaking the whole racist mandate and calling everybody racist. And even fucking Trudeau, Mr. Sock Puppet Extraordinaire, talking about the whole Proud Boys issue. Now, I've actually talked to a few lads from the Proud Boys, and they're the furthest thing from anything racial you can ever fucking imagine. They just love Western democracy. And I got news for you, ladies and gentlemen. 2 of those Proud Boys I talked to, guess what? They were Asian. Heaven forbid. So every time I hear anybody in the House of Commons talk about, the racial divide, oh my God, this country is so systemically racist. Again, I like to remind my audience and any politician out there who's listening to this, take a look at your MLA. Take a look at your Queen's Park. Take a look at every provincial and every municipal and federal cabinet. And look around the room to see how fucking diverse it is. If this country was so systematically racist, as you say, a lot of you guys wouldn't have a job. You wouldn't have the health care. You wouldn't have the points of privilege. And Jagmeet Singh, when you're talking about your whole oil and gas and fairness and equality virtues, think about that the next time you hop in your BMW and you fail to social distance yourself. Hypocrite. Okay? And even Jason Kenney, I'm a little disappointed in you, sir, too. Because you'd sit there and enforce these social distancing rules and talk about restaurants being closed, and yet you had it, right, on your Sky Tower. You had a little dinner. Doesn't matter if it's co-workers or not. You still did it. If you're going to walk the talk, you talk the walk, right? Walk the line. Set the example. Did I not mention that earlier in the show? Set the fucking example. Right. Why is it so hard for these clowns to do it? Okay. Why is it so hard? Okay. I like to tell every official in this fucking dilemma to wake the fuck up. Okay. People are getting tired of this crap. Yeah? Especially the politicians out there that constantly sit there and say, we have all this racism in Canada. We have all this hatred in Canada. We believe in freedom of expression. Yeah, you believe in freedom of expression when you can express yourself, yet people at the freedom marches in Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, Kitchener, Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver, and everywhere else in the country, when they're expressing themselves, no, we have to give them tickets. We have to fine them. They're not social distancing. They're not doing this. Can you say hypocrisy? I am no way condoning what happened to that family in London, Ontario. And as far as I'm concerned, nobody in their right fucking mind will condone it. Nobody will. But to constantly point the finger and call us racist, sir, to call us bigots, right? To actually promote your virtue without really knowing the facts makes you disingenuous. It makes you a fucking turd. In fact, you also did the same thing with the hijab hoax too. You were right there about an hour or two after the fact when the supposed quote-unquote crime happened, telling the nation, this is intolerable. We can't do this. We can't do that. How dare we show this? And yet, what did you say after when the hoax was discovered? When it was a hoax? Not too fucking much, eh? Yeah. So all the more reasons, folks, we have to be more diligent, and due diligence we shall. To all the independent media outlets out there that are doing a wonderful fucking job, hats off to you. The citizen journalists that do things, Druthers, Daniel Boardman, right? Rob Boutlier from Buffalo Tribune. My friend Adam Danny Mezei, Frank P. Vaughan, Fred Stockman, the guys who are on my show, and others, and myself. We have to do things with due diligence to the best of our ability. Like I said, I might have jumped the gun in the 215 graves, but there is evidence of bodies in that school. There is evidence of there. So let's wait out in that to find a concrete story, to find more concrete evidence of what happened. But still, all the more reasons to investigate these schools to the highest regard of the law and to the highest regard of our own abilities to find the truth, because truth and reconciliation will set us free. Honestly, folks, I don't know how else to explain it. Right? And let's put the Vatican on the fucking spot. Let's put the churches in charge on the spot. Now, I'm not saying parishioners and churchgoers alike. I am saying the leadership of these fucking oligarch manifests who constantly talk about unity and sacrifice, and yet what have they unified and what have they sacrificed? Yeah, not too goddamn much.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And like I say once again, ladies and gentlemen, please consider joining me on Supercast too. Every time I put an episode up on Podbean, join Supercast, $5 a month. Get you all of my episodes censorship free. Heck, even join me on Podbean as well. $5 a month will go a long way. Still, Podbean does not censor. Neither does Supercast, ladies and gentlemen. So please consider joining both today. All right, $5 a month gets you all of my episodes censorship free. Plus, you'll be helping me along too. And like I just said, I have 8,000 plus subscribers now on YouTube. So if half of my subscribers would give me, let's say, $1 or $2 a month, I would be well on my way making this podcast one fucking phenomenal thing. But I need viewers like you and listeners like you to give me a hand. And don't forget to share and subscribe and like all that good stuff. Please pass this around. Pass it to your friends. Pass it to their friends, and so on, like that old commercial, right? They tell two friends, and they tell two friends, and so on and so on. Keep it simple, folks, but keep it real. That's what we like to do here. That's what I like to do in the Crusty Canuck podcast. Try to keep it real to the best of my ability. Anyway, carrying on again. More sex, drugs, the jab, and the Vatican. Yes, the Vatican. We all know the Vatican sits on a fortune. A fortune they've accumulated since the dawn of its inception, right? From every war to every catastrophe. I wonder how much wealth the Vatican accumulated after World War II, too. I'm sure there's lots of info out there that would tell you about some of the paintings that they've confiscated or were given to by, the Fuhrer himself. Other pieces of gold, other items of wealth. I wonder what's sitting in the vaults of the Vatican as we speak. All the more reasons to have them atone. If they preach the gospel about atonement, then therefore set the fucking example, right? And I've met some great people throughout my life that are diehard Christians, and I am not condemning them whatsoever because they lead by example. They're good to their family, their friends, they reach the community, and they don't care what color anyone is or what faith anyone is. They've shown that. I had Artur Pawlowski on my show there a few weeks back, who demonstrated his dedication to the good of humanity by helping the homeless out in Calgary. And it seems like the new liberal mandate, whether it be NDP or the new woke liberal bullshit, try to shut him down for reaching out, helping the less fortunate. Right? Charity begins at home, right? And it branches out. What a great example. Now, I may disagree with Mr. Pawlowski's views, but he's proven to a lot of people that he is a good man. And there's other men and women out there who are just like him. And it doesn't matter if they're religious or not. Right? I remember back in 1985, our town had one hell of a tornado. I remember 2 days after the fact, when people were trying to clean up the mess and everything, here come the Mennonites in the Kitchener-Waterloo area, assisting farmers rebuild their barns. What a great fucking example. And I still remember that every day. So it's because of situations like that where I have respect for a lot of the Christian cultures, and a lot of other cultures for that matter too, that have showed that respect and given that kindness. And I've seen it through Muslim communities and Jewish communities alike too. So let's get off the race baiting bullshit and don't tolerate this, especially from elected officials, okay? And if there's any conservatives listening to this podcast right now that happen to work for the offices that like to reach out and call people all the time for donations, please stop calling me, okay? Stop calling me. In the past month, you have called me 6 times asking me for a donation. Now, my wife is conservative. That's what makes our marriage really dynamic, too, is that we can both agree on something and disagree on something without losing our shit. Right? My wife's been a conservative all her natural life. That's just how she is. She's not a pain in the ass. She's my wife. I love her dearly. I'm fucking so proud of her. Her stamina, her integrity, and her heart. Just a wonderful human being. That's why I married her. But we disagree on politics sometimes. So if anyone's in the greater Vancouver area or any constituency offices that's reach out and call and solicit people for funds, please stop calling me. Okay? And the next time you fucking laugh, all right, about my political stance on something, I'll contact your supervisor. I'll pull a Karen on you and talk to your manager. Pricks. Anyhow. The point I'm trying to make is that I do have conservative values. I have liberal values. But I also have very, very based libertarian values, meaning live and let people do what they want to fucking do. Let people make their money, go about their business. Okay? But in order to keep that strong and keep that real, in order for all of us to stand on guard for thee, we must fight for that democracy and fight for that freedom to do so. We use our words, yes. Write our letters. Send our emails. Send our tweets. Because I don't want to see violence on the horizon, ladies and gentlemen, because trust me, the majority of voters right now, I really don't think they can handle it. And I'm talking at the voter base between the ages of 18 and 35. Okay? So when someone sits there and tells me that this country is racist, question him on that. Prove it. When someone sits there and tells you that this country is full of this and full of that, ask him to prove it. To all those commies out there that have weighed in on my Facebook profile the past couple of days, prove your fucking point. Okay? Tell me why this country is so terrible. And don't turn around and tell me, oh, well, if you're so oppressed, then just leave. Go have freedom in America. Because that tells me you don't want freedom in this country. There are still people in my life that have fought long and fucking hard, that have paid the ultimate price. There are people I think about today that are not with us today because they paid the ultimate fucking price. And you have the goddamn audacity to tell me to leave the country that I fought for? Blow it out your ass, kiddo. Put down your half-ass fucking degree. I don't care what you're qualified in. I don't care if you have an English degree or a history degree or an art degree or a basket weaving degree. Get out and get a world fucking view that will prove that fucking degree of yours worthy. And then come back and talk to me about oppression. Then talk to me about freedom. And when you're willing to fight for something bigger than your feeling aspect, right? Or your mother's fucking basement, then we can sit and have a conversation. That simple. So, all the more reasons to question the Vatican, question the liberal mandates, and the conservative mandates, and the NDP mandates, and the green mandates. Get off the fucking virtual horse and quit preaching the gospel and start living your fucking gospel. Mr. Trudeau, you are a racist, sir. Mr. Singh, you, sir, are a racist too. And Mr. O'Toole, I don't know what to say to you anymore, sir. I had a lot of respect for you at one time, but, your carbon savings plan did it for me, and this whole virtue ride is doing it for me even more. Right? I don't know what to say. We got to get back to blue-collar basics, ladies and gentlemen. Back to the can-do attitude. Yes, we can do this. And I personally know people that are willing to sacrifice their time and efforts to do it, too. Just like yours truly. So if they call a snap at election, ladies and gentlemen, consider the Veterans Coalition Party. And I'm not just doing this for the sake of, because I'm a member of the party. I'm doing it because I don't want people calling me up anymore, asking me for money, and then laughing at my pursuits. I don't. I gave 20 years to this country, and I got a hell of a lot more to give. Right? A hell of a lot more to give. And again, let's question the Vatican. Let's question the clergy. Let's question the people who deny truth and reconciliation. And let's question the events in recent news, too. I say again, ladies and gentlemen, I am not condoning what this man did to those 4 innocent people in London, Ontario. But I don't know. A part of me is just saying it's not a terrorist act. It's just some guy being an idiot. And if I'm wrong about that, then I'll stand corrected and I'll mention that in my show like I always do. But we've got to find the truth. And truth and reconciliation is going to begin with all of us. It's not just a First Nations issue. It's a Canadian issue. It's that simple. Right? You decide, folks. You decide which is right. You decide what needs to be reconciled. But we have to find the truth regardless. Right? We have to find the truth in everything we do. Whether we can handle it or not. That's just how it is. Right? It's part of being an adult. It's part of growing up. It's part of getting older. It's part of gaining wisdom and maturity and knowledge and respect. And whatever spiritual doctrine you follow, it helps your soul. Right? I've been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 8th of June, 2021. Stay tuned to my community page, what have you, on YouTube and Facebook alike and other media outlets. I'll post in my description there too. I'm working some kinks out with some of the pages that I'm on, but you'll have choices out there to watch and listen to my podcast at your leisure with a variety of choices too. So pay attention to my updates on that as well. And if you like and hear what you see, please click like and subscribe. All that good stuff. Share it all over the place, all over the networks. All right, especially my European listeners out there, please. I like to get the European point of view on things as well. And to my American listeners, same thing for you lads and ladies. Do what you can. Share this all around. Do what we can to help each other out. All right? There is light in the end of this manufactured darkness, ladies and gentlemen. There is light. I believe it. I've seen it. I still see the good in people. I see the respect and the mutual understanding and the fight and the thrive for democracy as we see it. Basic liberty. And we know it's being compromised. But we have to fight for better and do better. And it starts with us. That's simple. Like I said, I've been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 8th of June, 2021. There'll be no fastball this Sunday. I'm working. But there should be one the next Sunday following the 13th, I believe the 20th. Yes. So pay attention to that. We'll probably have a better panel this time. We won't be so condensed or rushed, but we'll promote a great show as always. And thank you once again to all my viewers and subscribers and listeners alike for your great support. Keep the good work out. Share this around. Keep liking, subscribing, all that good stuff. Like I say, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Crusty Canuck. And do what you can to help each other out in these trying times. Try to find a light in this manufactured darkness. Because we will persevere. Help your friends out. Help your loved ones out. Help your neighbors out. Do what you can. That little bit of extra always goes an extra little mile. Give a few bucks to a food bank. Give a bag of food to the food bank. Help the elderly out. Hey, reach out to some of the First Nations and talk to them too. It's that simple. I'm trying to as we speak right now. I've sent some emails to people, but still waiting for responses. But needless to say, do what we can. We got to set that better example, ladies and gentlemen, and we can do it. History's proven that. Like I say, look after your friends and loved ones. Do what you got to do to be your best. And remember, humanity and merit wins the day. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me.
Yes, sir.
There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
This has been another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay sane and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast.
That's not much of a crime.
Through the Vatican?
Kinky.